loved this week, looking at the ABCs of the gospel. And today's letter is the letter J. And I've got a compound word for you. God is our Jehovah Jireh. We first see this name mentioned in Genesis chapter 22 with the story of Abraham and Isaac. God tests Abraham and says, "Please will you sacrifice your son?" What I love about Abraham is that he doesn't waver at all. He doesn't procrastinate. He doesn't waver in thinking, is this God's voice? Is it not? But we see in verse 3 it says, "So Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son. And he split the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the place afar off." Abraham didn't know he was a shadow of what God was going to do through Jesus. He knew the character of God, that no matter what the circumstances were happening around him, he trusted God so much. In fact, he says to the people, to the young men that were there behind in verse 5, it says, "Stay here with the donkey. The lad and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come back to you." Hebrews puts it this way in chapter 11, verse 17. "It was by faith that Abraham offered Isaac as a sacrifice when God was testing him. Abraham, who had received God's promises, was ready to sacrifice his only son Isaac, even though God had told him, 'Isaac is the son through whom your descendants will be counted.' Abraham reasoned that if Isaac died, God was able to bring him back to life again. And in a sense, Abraham did receive his son back from the dead." This is how secure Abraham was in the covenant that God had made with him, that even if his son died, he would be raised again back to life. We need this confidence in the character of God. Sometimes life is throwing us curveballs. Sometimes we're in chaos with our circumstances. But that should never question the character of God in our lives. He remains faithful. He remains the same. He is a good, loving Father. And so we see the story continue. Abraham and Isaac go up the mountain. Isaac says, "Father, where is the sacrifice?" And Abraham makes this powerful statement, "God will provide." And he puts his son on the altar, and as he's about to stab him, an angel stops him. And Abraham looks around, and we read together, he says, "Look, the fire and the wood are here, for there is a lamb for the burnt offering," because in the bushes was a ram that had been caught. God had provided. For me, I see this whole story unfolding. But what I also see is on the other side of the mountain, there was a ram that was busy making his way up the hill that would then be caught in the thicket. God knows what you need before you even know it. And even when you feel so desperate in your circumstances, I want to remind you there is a God, Jehovah Jireh, that is busy sending a ram up the hill where the two are going to meet, and there will be provision for you. Even the word provision says that they will see the future, that there will be vision in your provision. And so God wants to provide for you today. Know He is your Jehovah Jireh. He sees and He provides, just as He did for Abraham and Isaac. Go and meditate on that, and always remember you are highly favored and deeply loved.